Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is LolaAjisafe here. We are talking about Ready to Love. It's episode 6. We know we're going to settle and just agree that it's season 7. We know it's really season 8, but I'm going to go with them. Anyway, before we start, housekeeping rules, please don't forget to like the video, y'all. Please don't forget to like the video. Secondly, please drop a comment, drop a line. Let me know what y'all think, what's going on, how you feel. Like we're halfway through. And then last but not least, if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. So we're just going to go into it. So this week is a catch. So I was going to say it's the men's week to vote, but maybe it's not, maybe it is. Let's see. So anyway, but it starts off with the men's lounge, and then nephew Uncle Tommy starts talking about, I feel like he gives the guys more meaty things to work with. I guess him being a man, it's easier for him to kind of explain these things. So first of all, he talks about, them focusing on their promising connections. Yeah, I can agree with that. I can. But in real life, and I guess what this show is trying to emphasize is that, yes, you need to give your favorite, your promising connection some focus. But I think in order to give yourself leverage, that shouldn't be where your attention should be. I know he's just giving them this assignment for the week. So I think the point here, it's not just him just saying, just focus for the rest of the time for the week. But I would just say in real life, like, the way things are right now, it's not over till it's over. One reason, actually a few reasons, I would say, yes, definitely put some focus on what in your mind, what you think is your front runner, what your person who's at the top of your list. But also keep your options open for various reasons. One, of course, it gives you leverage, which is important. You don't want that person who's your numero uno to really feel like, that you don't have options. Most importantly, secondly, you just never know who you're going to meet. And they might open up a whole different kind of things that different kind of compatibility. You might find that you may be more compatible with another individual. Then he talks about the hard questions. What do we call the hard questions? What are the hard questions to you, to whoever you're talking to? Hard questions. Some of the hard questions that I think, maybe more so now people are talking about it, but money. How are you going to spend it? What are you going to spend it on? This new dynamic of 50-50, when I was coming up, like, it wasn't that, he's meant to do everything. But I think what's different now is the entitlement that I hear in male voices about, you got this. Because the truth is, I think from time, women have always been in a position where they would support their man no matter what. And it's still happening now. And this is what I see. I see a lot of, what they call it. What's this term, ride or die chick. Like, I ain't ride or dying with you anywhere. But the term ride or die chick, simply when you're talking about black woman, is a woman who supports a man to the end, to the hill, till she falls off the cliff with him. But the joke is that the joker jumps off the bike and lets her fall off the cliff on a bike and die by herself. But that's a whole nother kind of beans. But the thing is, I do hear, it's common knowledge. A lot of women, particularly black women, will follow this man off the cliff, start with him, but all of a sudden he gets some money in his pocket and things tend to change. There's a set for me. Let me speak for myself. For me, it's more like, if we're doing 50-50, when we talk about man being the head of the household, you submitting to the head, like, how are you the head of the household if we splitting the bills? That whole concept has now been pushed to the side if we're talking about 50-50. Now, no one's saying don't support. No one's saying if something happens, if he goes through something, you won't be there to support him, hold him up. Like, if he needs to rest, you got the baton, you're running. No one's saying that doesn't happen. That happens. But I think if you're starting off, in my mind, starting off a relationship and saying, it's 50-50, then that really, and of course, every relationship is open to interpretation, it's open to discussion where you guys decide. But I just think that if you're coming off the rip talking about 50-50, then you're already splitting things down the middle. And it really does change the dynamics of a relationship. You can't expect all the other things that traditionally one had been doing to still stay or sit or follow or make sense. because you start off the rip with 50-50, because most of the time, even in traditional relationships, when the guy falls on hard times, the woman is there, and people won't even know that he doesn't have, because she got him. So it's like this new wave sense of entitlement kind of it's a big question, needs to be addressed, big question. Then second thing that when you talk about hard questions is, how do you want to raise children? What are your interests? And I think, you know, when you talk about what you like to do, you don't have to have the same interests, but you have to have some things in common. I think that's when compatibility kind of boils into it. You have to have some things in common with this person. And last but not the least, intimacy. What is their expectation? What is your expectation? And where will you guys meet? Things are not always going to remain the same. There's going to be ebbs and flows, but you have to have a real conversation so it doesn't become an issue. It's still going to come up, but if you've already had that conversation prior, you can build up on what you've already discussed. But you're just going into it cold like some of us did, like, yo, yeah. It's over before it begins. All right, so going into nephew Tommy has told them, you know what, guys, I want you to, of course, take the person you're focused on, take them out on a date, ask the hard questions, dig deep. You want them to be guys. They've taken on this assignment. So the first date is a group date. So I want to say it's Mercedes. I want to say Suan was there, Anthony, the NP, and there's one, I think, Blake. Those are the initial plays I'm thinking of right now. So the first kind of grouping off where they get off, and Cynthia was there as well. Grouping off was when Mercedes was talking with Anthony, and so of course, you know, Anthony, you know, understood the assignment, so he's asking her, he's like, you know, and he gave her the option. He's like, you can, you know, talk about anything you want, but, you know, tell me something you don't ordinarily talk about, or you wouldn't ordinarily open up at this early stage in the game. Mercedes took the bat and run. She's like, yo, I got this. I got you, sir. She comes up with, I like you. I admire the qualities you have. And I actually feel intimidated by what your expectations would be. How would I meet up? You already have a kid. You're already established in your career. Seem like a responsible person. I'm still at the beginning end of my end where I haven't really built anything. That if you've already built this much, like, how do I come in and how do I fit in? Because it looks like I'd have to fit in. And he was very gracious, like, no, what makes you feel that no? He gave her grace. Like, no, that's not the case. And what I feel here is, I hadn't noticed it before, but definitely there seems to be a connection between the two. And this is the point where, because a lot of time people do have, you know, varying degrees of how they believe, you know, I personally believe, like I've said 100 times, a man should pursue. But I think in this instance, Mercedes was not pursuing him, but literally just, you know, putting the ball in his court. She's putting him on notice that, yeah, I'm interested. What's up? Like, and it was a very subtle way of putting him on notice. Like, yeah, I like you. What now? That's not pursue. That's just like, okay, I've given you this information. What are you going to do with it? So do I think that's okay? Yeah, you can say that. You can definitely let the person know, because you can let them know you're interested in so many ways. How you respond to the way they're talking, body language. But she told him that, look, I'm interested. And even went as far as letting him know that she kind of assessed the situation and wasn't sure how she felt about it. Like, okay, that was a little more honest that was honest. I'll give her that. So I want to see how this will play out, because now Anthony's been put on notice that, yo, what's up? And this is where, if he is interested too, this is where he'll take the baton and run with it. So this is now, so she's put the ball in his court. Now he needs to run with it. Now the ball is in his court. He needs to take care of it. She just needs to sit back and relax. She needs to do no more. This is the point where I say no more. Now he is meant to pursue if he's interested. If he's not, he can take a back seat. The next pairing up involves Mercedes again, but this time Linden's in the mix. At this point, I feel like Linden's clutching for straws. Like, he's flailing. He's in the water doing a doggy paddle. He's not moving, and he's trying to figure things out fast because he knows elimination's coming up, and he doesn't have any. I think he feels the connection. There's something with him and Morgan, but he know Tony's in the picture. Tony the tiger. So he needs like, the name of the game is, you have your main thing and you need a couple backups. Like, you get to the end if you have more than one backup. So now he's trying to figure out his backup. So now he's hitting up Mercedes. Talk about, I don't think he understood the assignment. Maybe he didn't feel very confident in how to speak with her, because maybe they don't even have a foundation already. I feel like he went into this situation cold. There was no warm up. I don't know. I don't feel like they've had conversations leading in this direction. Maybe they've had like friendly chit chats, but they haven't really hit it. So he comes out with it cold, like there was no warm up. Like you need to, like you want to drive, you warm the car up first. You'll warm the car up first. But he just jumped into the car, put the key in, and tried to drive, trying to go like 80 miles per hour. Because he literally jumps in, starts with like, hey, do you like me? First of all, the assignment wasn't for someone to reveal something for you. It was for her to reveal something about her. It was meant to be about her, not about you. But you seize this opportunity, unfortunately, and it didn't work in your favor, to try and get something about you. Because I feel like sometimes you may not necessarily connect with someone initially, but you have a great conversation, you can develop a connection, you can develop an interest. Like he just went in cold, and yeah, like I didn't see how that was going to work. I don't see how he thought that was going to work. I don't think he read the temperature of the room, because there was no prior. He hadn't done the groundwork, no foundation. All of a sudden, cold, like, do you like me? She took a minute. They went to commercial break, and she's like, yeah, sure. And I think she qualified it as a friend. What was he expecting? A confession? Like, yeah. I believe Linden's early 30s. And this is what I'm saying with this, this new era of apps and not speaking with people. Like he works in a bar, so I feel like he should be able to read people, but he didn't read the room. And this is about conversation, reading people, like, and like, I don't want to call him inexperienced, but someone who understands people would have known that would not be the question to ask, because even if she did like him, her blurting it out right there and then would not be to her advantage at all. It wouldn't make sense, because there's been no groundwork, there's been no conversation, there's been no back and forth, a flow. Like, no. I believe if you're out on those apps, have a conversation, talk to the person, a day, 2 days, like have a real conversation. I don't think you should meet someone, you should talk to someone on an app and immediately, oh, let's go sit down. No, don't meet them yet. You don't even know if they make sense. I don't want to put some clothes on, probably brush my hair, have gas, waste gas in my car to go meet someone, only to find out that, yo, they don't make any sense. They don't think like I do. Like their political views are completely opposite of mine, because nowadays, before, political views weren't an issue, but now they are. Like if you button for one side, then we don't have anything to discuss. That at this point, because it's gone to such a level, it's such a deep level of ignorance, that there's certain views, if you have those views, then we don't have anything to share. And the personal regard, we can be work buddies, we can be, so these things need to be teased out. I think that's where he kind of went with it, like, oh yeah, click like, is it swipe right or swipe left? Wherever you swipe right and you click, you link, and you say, hey, what's up? You're like 100 hellos. Oh yeah, let's meet. No, it's not 100 hellos, let's meet. No, who are you? What do you believe? How do you think? What do you do? So yeah, he didn't do all that. So I say all this to say that it was ended before it started, because he didn't warm her up. Miss Suan meets up with Blake. I'm still watching this connection, and I'm going to remain to keep an open mind about the connection. But honestly, when you see how they were interacting, I don't know if it's because Blake is awkward or because he doesn't like her. I'd said, I think 3 episodes ago, like at the end of they had this jumping date. At the end of the date, I wasn't sure if he liked her or not. Honestly, right now, I still don't know. I don't know if he's playing along or if he really likes her. Honestly, I don't know. And honestly, I don't know if Miss Suan knows that either. Because she closed the distance between them. He didn't try to. She seemed to be more putting herself out there. And he's capable of doing that, but he didn't. Now, did he not do that because he's feeling awkward and uncomfortable with cameras? Or did he not do that because he's not interested? Yeah, they leaned in for a kiss. He said, I know you did that. But yeah, could all be a performance. I honestly don't know if he likes her the way Suan likes him. So let's wait and see. So there's another date, Blue. Finally, Blue's coming into the picture. You know what I call those sleeper agents? Like, you don't know, they're around till they come up and hit you in the head. Like, I feel like Blue's a sleeper agent, but let's see how it goes. So finally, Blue meets up with Jeffrey there at the waterfront, and they're talking. Jeffrey's like, yo, I'm interested. Once again, she put him on notice, and that's fair. You put them on notice, see what they do with the information you've given them. then move accordingly or act accordingly. She's put him on notice that, yeah, I would like you to step it up. Like, somebody monopolizing my time, step up to him and say, excuse me, my G, like, can I have a minute or minute with her? Can I have a word with her? Whatever the case may be, she kind of told him, like, yeah, I'd like to see you, step up. You see Marc Anthony? No, she didn't say that. I'm just saying, if you see Marc Anthony there, say, excuse me, sir, I need to speak with her for 5 minutes. Boom. and he seemed to take that information, because shortly after that, pulled his chair, sat right beside her. And I'm like, feeling, a nice little chemistry. And I think we noticed this chemistry when they had the, like the meditation, and then the mood vision board date they had last week, where she was kind of appreciating how he put himself. So I'm like, okay, this is budding, let's see where this goes. And then they were looking at the water, and they had I'm not sure how she recognized that, but she said there were some ducks swimming. And what she noticed, she said she didn't see a male duck. She only saw she saw a female duck with the little ducklings. That sucks. That's sad. Where was this happening even in the animal kingdom? And Blue said something about how, yeah, but y'all are strong. And yo, sis, she said, for all of us, it's no longer a compliment to be called or considered strong. Honestly, to me, it's not a compliment. I'm here for #soft life. That's what it's about. I'm not trying to be strong. Please treat me like a princess. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do with money. I don't know how to drive a car. That's the game right now, because it's not a compliment anymore, because people have run with it. And when I say people, I want to say men have run with that concept of the strong woman, where they almost feel like they can sit back, like, she got it. No, I don't got it. Like, who said it best? There's this guy I think he's on all platforms, at least TikTok and IG, Joshua Dillard. He said it best.
Black women are tired. They're tired of being independent. They're tired of being looked at as the strongest. They're tired of having to take care of the kids by themselves. They're tired of bearing all the weight.
Black woman is tired. I want to spend my time pursuing my interests, and I'll support him. Like, hey, dear. Nobody's trying to play. Nobody's trying to be Superwoman. Nobody's trying to raise kids by themselves. Nobody's trying to do that. Are we doing that? Yes, we are. But it's not because we want to. It's because we have to. And we want to kill that. We want to dead that. We want to 86 that. That's not for us anymore. That's not the future anymore. There's a reason why God has put it in a way where 2 people are required to make a child, because 2 people are meant to raise it. Like, so we have like 2 simultaneous dates. I'm bringing them up because we want to talk about something in them. So I'm going to talk about Tony Tiger and Marcia. So this is like the second time they've had like a solo date. So he's still kind of feeling out. I feel like Morgan's is number 1, but he's feeling out Marcia just to see where, how it goes, where it goes, just, making an educated choice. So in the meantime, I don't know if it was in her confessional, Marcia said something about, needing time to warm up, and really all that means is she just wants room to trust that person. Which falls back onto what happened with Linden asking somebody cold straight out, you like me? Nah, I don't know you. So why do I don't know you to like you. So for a woman, she's going to require space, room to relax, to feel safe, and now develop some trust. Let her guard down. You let that guard down, you'll see who they are. And not only will you see who they are, you will get the best of them, because their guard is down and they're open, and if they trust you or she trusts you. If they don't trust you, the guard's gonna be up. You don't know, anything can happen. You get what you get. So they start off nice, but sis decides to do what I've told people to do from season to season. Y'all, if you try and sign up for this show, please listen to the sound of my voice. Please don't ask someone what they're doing with somebody else. If you go on a dating show, please do not ask one contestant how it's going with another contestant. Second of all, more importantly, don't ask them to rank. Never ask, and I've said this multiple times, never ask someone a question where you're not prepared to hear the answer. Because she go ahead and ask him, talk about, rank. I want, who else are you interested in rank? Like, sis, prepare yourself for the worst. If he tell you that you're not number 1, you good with that? And you asked for it and you got it. I think he said Morgan, and he said you. That's what don't ask a question if you're not ready for the worst answer, worst case scenario. Don't ask the question, because you asked that question like you knew you were going to be number 1. You clearly haven't seen him and Morgan together. You have to use wisdom in this thing. This is chess, not checkers. City goes down by 1 at this point. But that's okay, Marcia. Let's see how you recover. Tony, in his confession, he said something that I think was key. He started talking about how it was very difficult to court different women on the show for many reasons. One, it's like in real life, yeah, he could probably do this in real life because a lot of them are in isolation. They don't know each other. They can't see what's going on. But this is not. This is one is in front of cameras. Two women know each other, so they can talk. That's like, so you have to put your best foot forward. Like, that's kind of awkward. It's really awkward. And in that process, as the woman, if you like someone but you know he's going through the process with somebody else, that can't make you feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you can't let your guard down. If you don't let your guard down, how can you be honest? If you can't be honest, how can love really develop? How can you really like the person if you can't trust them? Because you're in this process. The process of the show conflicts with the process of actually meeting someone and falling in love with someone, because it does not create a safe environment for either party. I'm speaking for men too. If a man likes a woman but sees that was like the way, DeMario was sulking last week over Jeffrey, like, okay, I didn't agree with how he moved, but the concept of what he was going through I could understand. You can't feel safe. You're going to act up. And DeMario acted up. So yeah, the whole concept of the show kind of contradicts what they say they're trying to create. You can't create a safe connection if your connection has to connect with other people, because you'd be a fool to open up when you see the person connecting with other people, because honestly, you really don't know humans. Is that person really honestly going to end up with you? You don't know. You don't know until the fat lady sings it's not over till it's over. So really, the concept really doesn't help, which is why to date, I think we have one engagement. Is that correct? And maybe, what's that guy? This was like, I want to say second or third season. Mario, and I've forgotten, Rena or Riva have names. I think they're still together, maybe, but even the way those are the two couples I know that are still together, that have been, if they're still together, because I don't know. But that's why the show contradicts the whole concept, which is why it hasn't been successful in producing solid couples. Of course, Linden meets Morgan. Like, that's his number one, but like I said before, I don't see it. Like, she looks so much more mature than him, both in how she carries herself, how she moves, how she talks, and how she looks. He walking around in boxer shorts, calling them, I'm sure they're not boxer shorts, but they look like boxer shorts. But even when you look at them, just when you put that picture up, they look different. When they talk different. For Morgan, Linden's a very comfortable, easy backup plan. For Linden, you're flailing. Linden, sit. Look, I'm going to call him, don't mean sis. I'm sorry, forgive me. Linden, bruh, like, you flailing right now, because like I said last week, Stevie Wonder can see like Tony and Morgan are connected, but she playing the game. She playing a tight game. She playing a tight game. She let you know, like, you talking about, yeah, she honest with you. She is like, she comfortable with you because you're not her main interest. So she got nothing to lose. So she can just be herself. Because whatever happens. Like, you just a backup. I hope that doesn't sound mean. But yeah, so she can be real comfy. Like, she can shoot the breeze with you because it's easy breezy. You're not her main interest. You're not her major interest. You're just a backup. I hope that doesn't sound cruel, but we're keeping it real amongst each other right now. So yeah, of course she could be all these things, and of course she's easy, of course she's more honest. And even then, sir, like, I feel for you, but you sign up for this process. So let's see how it goes. But honestly, to me, when I'm looking at the clips, how she interacts with you and how she interacts with Tony, you're a very comfortable backup. She probably likes you like your G, but as of now, have you tried to move in? Have you tried to smooch? I don't think so. At least they didn't show it. But it's all the storyline here, so maybe you have. They're just trying to crunch on your glory and your shine. But yeah, you look like a comfortable backup plan. But they talk about trust. Yeah, she trusts you because you expect less of your homies. You expect less of your buddies. So it's easy breezy. So yeah, it's easy for her to trust you. Because the truth is, I think you understand the process. So even after filming, you're going to be cool with her. There's another date that comes on, double date. Marc Anthony says he brings in Jonique. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Jonique and Jeffrey. Marc Anthony's trying to feel out, I guess, Jonique, and then of course confirm his connection with Jeffrey. And said, his words were, he said he brought, Daddy Tony or Tony the Tiger as backup. Like, I love that he respects Tony's gangster. But let's see. So Tony the Tiger was meant to be a wingman, but Tony the Tiger, he's feeling out, Jonique, and see how it goes. So once again, consistently, Jonique has shown me like that number 6 is tick 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 tock tick tock. I love it. Like, she's really mature, and it's not a surprise, but she makes a lot of sense. I like how she thinks, and honestly, a lot of the guys on the show are not mature enough for her. She's too grown for most of them. Tony the Tiger, grown-ass man, he could appreciate what she brings to the table, and all of a sudden he acknowledges that, oh yeah, I didn't really look at her like that before, but oh, how you doing? Like, literally, like, he's listening to the way she speaks, how she's expressing herself and what she's looking for, and he's like, oh. And that's the thing when you talk about compatibility. You want similar things, you have similar ideals. He's looking at her all of a sudden differently because she's making sense. And a grown man is not just the package you're looking at how the person thinks. And all of a sudden she has his attention. He was just coming on as, a wingman, and all of a sudden, which is what I'm saying, I think at the beginning of this episode I'd said that, focus on your main person, but keep your mind open because you don't know what's around the corner. And all of a sudden he's seen Jonique and how she thinks. Like, there's no question in her, she's an attractive young lady, but like, more importantly, like, her number 6 is doing what it needs to do. It's like sharp and well oiled, and all of a sudden, like, Morgan, this lady about to give you a run for your money. Now, I haven't seen how he and Morgan, like, it looks like he and Morgan have great chemistry, but I don't know, do they have great conversation? Because Jonique, like, she threw it on the table, like, she keeps it real. She's 100, how the kids say. But yeah, this is something new that I'm curious to see how it plays out. But that's it. Like, when you talk about compatibility, right there, that played into it. Like, initially, yeah, he thought she was attractive, but he wasn't check. Honestly, was he checking for her? I don't think he was checking for her like that. But when she suddenly started showing him how she thinks, all of a sudden he's like, who is you? Of course, Marc Anthony is chatting with Jeffrey, and I think the grown conversation that Jonique provided confirmed to Marc Anthony that she's not the one for him. Like, grown recognize grown. Like, if you aren't grown, you can't appreciate that kind of conversation. Marc Anthony couldn't appreciate that kind of conversation. So finally, they get to this dinner setup that Uncle Nephew Tommy has been talking about, because he hadn't really told the guys you're going to vote somebody off yet. Nothing. We didn't know what was going on. So anyway, bring them together. He talks to, hey, how you guys doing? Of course, Morgan, she's doing this again. Like, she conveniently finds herself sitting with Linden. Just put fire under Tony. She playing chess. She ain't playing checkers. She playing chess. Like, Tony know that Morgan checking for him. Like, he can see it, but he can still put fire under him. He can see what she's doing. Like, I can see what she's doing, so I know he can. But anyway, I digress. So anyway, Uncle Nephew Tommy comes in, tells them that Andre, he back. Like, he's over COVID and he's back. He wants to come back and play. Then they now put them in like so this is now, I don't know if this is something new they want to start doing, where they're gonna have a mid-season reunion conversation where we're gonna have all of y'all in the room. Y'all can start throwing out dirt and dust, like throwing it out. One thing before I get into it was, like, when they told the group that Andre was coming back, y'all please tell me in the comments, because maybe I missed something. Why did Jeffrey look so shook? Like, she looked shook. Like, she didn't look happy, because she had said that Andre was a connection for her. Was she upset? I don't know. Like, was she? I don't know. But she looked shook for a good bit of that till he came out. Even then, when he came out, other people were chuckling, giggling. Cynthia had a great connection with Andre, was excited, but she just looked shook. But anyway, they start talking about, they start having like a general, instead of having, so it looks like a unisex lounge, where, because he had told them now that 2 people are going home. 1 woman and 1 man. That's unfair. Like, y'all doing too much. Why don't you just let them enjoy the evening and next week? But anyway, they mess up their evening. They all dress nice, and now they know 1 woman, the woman who didn't think they were on chopping block, now they on chopping block. So, you know what? So 1 woman, 1 man is going at the end. Of course, it's not the end of this episode. It's going to be the next episode. But, things that come out. The regular stuff. Some people trying to say that, Anthony NP. I keep saying NP because there's Marc Anthony, there's Tony. Is like, so I have to differentiate. So Anthony NP, which is nurse practitioner, some people saying that they didn't really connect with him. I'm like, okay, whatever. Some people bring up Marc Anthony. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Some people bring up Blake, rightfully so. Morgan, I told you Morgan played chess. She don't play checkers. Morgan bring him up to like Blake, like, my G. I don't see it. And then I think it gets to, yeah, when Morgan brought it up, then Blake starts talking, and then all Blake can do finally, like 2 episodes later, all Blake can do is give like a blanket, oh, it's not true, I didn't say that. This manufactured beef between Jeffrey and Suan, y'all, I'm done with it. Suan, Jeffrey don't want Blake. Blake, Jeffrey don't want you. Jeffrey, yo, I understand there's some irritation initially because you felt like, you know, Suan had kind of gotten into it and talked about it, but now we just need to dead this. Like I asked you people last week not to bring this beef onto a new episode. You're brought into a new episode. This is completely ridiculous. I hope it ends. Let dead this, like, because there's nothing to see here, folks. There's nothing to talk about. Nobody want Blake but Miss Suan. So Miss Suan, she good. Like this real childish, high schoolish back and forth for TV time. I don't know. That's what I'm assuming is because. And yo, I'm say this last time. Please don't bring this nonsense into the next episode. Please dead this. I've said my piece. So now we got to the end of the episode. 1 man and 1 woman are going home by the end of this evening, which we're going to find out next week. And what I'm saying is I won't hear about this Jeffrey Suan beef because Blake ain't worth all that. Here we are, end of episode 6. We have a mid-season reunion style conversation. So guys, it's been real. I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video. Tell me what you think. There's some questions I asked you. I want to hear the answer to those questions. And then if you haven't subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Once again, Lola, over and out.